it going, guys? aRenG Life here, and today we're talking about some new leaks that are coming to Duel Links. First of them being Obelisk. Shout out to Duel Links Meta for having a cool website that is able to actually compress all this stuff. It's really useful to just navigate through everything. It's by far the most useful. But let's go ahead and get things started. So the next anniversary is coming. What is it? Second year anniversary coming to the game. I think first year's was January 12th. It's safe to assume we're gonna be getting Obelisk on the 12th. So that's just the thing. So that's pretty cool. But Obelisk is finally coming to the game, and that's pretty hype. Finally, it only took them a year. It only took them one more year after we got Slifer, which is kind of weird, but whatever. That's only the first thing I'm going to talk about. But obviously, we are going to be getting Obelisk's sleeves, mat, all the Obelisk shenanigans. It's gonna be, we're gonna have to have an event where we fight Ishizu, and it's probably gonna be just like the Slifer one where we fight Strings, and it's gonna be available to everybody. So that's just one of the things that we're getting. And Obelisk, GG. Next up, another thing we're talking about is the selection box. So we're getting a new selection box. You guys can kind of see what we're looking at right now. If you guys are new to Duel Links, if you don't know how these work, it's basically it's kind of like Konami's way of saying, like, hey, here's a lot of the URs and SRs from the previous packs, and we're gonna reprint them in this new set, in a reprint set. But just to make it extra pay to win, we're gonna make it to where it's not just old cards. There are some new cards in there. So even the people who already have those cards still have to spend money to try to get those cards. It's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of a scummy practice. But fair enough, Konami. I see what you're doing here. But all right. So right off the bat, the first card I'm looking at is Angel of Zera. It's all about banishing, so I don't know, if seeing a deck that is going to work around this guy looks, I don't know, I think it'd be interesting. It's a level 8 Fairy Synchro, 2800 attack, 2300 defense, pretty good. One tuner, one or more non-tuner monsters, so it's generic. That's awesome. That is really nice. Its effect does state this card gains 100 attack for each of your opponent's banished cards, so apparently you're going to want to banish their stuff. During the standby phase of the next turn after this card was banished, special summon this banished card. You can only use the effect of Angel of Zera once per turn. So banishing multiple, not gonna work. You're not gonna get multiple back. Unless we got stuff like D-Fissure or Dimensional Fissure and Macrocosmos, I don't think this guy's gonna see too much play, but it's still a pretty cheeky card, and it does counter stuff like, I guess, Amazonas and stuff like that, even though like the deck is pretty much dead. Speaking of which, I know a lot of you guys might be hyped to see like the meta shift, but it looks like Mass Heroes are here to stay, because we got Mass Hero Dion. Mass Heroes are they're gonna keep evolving. They're gonna keep doing stuff. I think it's okay, because I don't think this card is too degenerate like Anki. I don't think this card is as bad as Anki. Anki can just pretty much win on its own. Anki could pretty much win on its own. Dion is not as bad. It can pretty much special summon from the deck, which is pretty cool. But its effect, it does state, it's 2800, 3000 defense though. It's pretty good defense. It's an Earth type, so you're gonna be using an Earth E-Hero monster to mass change into this. But it does say, must be special summoned with mass change, cannot be special summoned by other ways. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the grave, you can special summon one level 4 or lower hero monster from your deck. I guess you can go for Wild Heart. We might be getting the new guy from the new silence structure deck. That could also, you can summon that guy, but he's only like 1300 or something like that. So, but this just requires you to destroy a monster. So at least it's not like mass change, search mass change again, attack again for another 28, or attack for 14. So this is not as strong, but it's still pretty cheeky. But I just needed to cover Dion because it's an interesting card. But we're getting other synchro support like Eccentric Boy over here. Now this is a win level 3 tuner. It's a spellcaster as well, so maybe there could be some synergy with the Silent Waifu. I don't know, I don't think so. But this one does state, when using this card as a synchro material monster, the other synchro material monster is one monster in your hand. Now the wording on that is kind of interesting, because it's basically like saying, if you're using this tuner for a synchro summon, you're gonna use the other material in your hand, and that's pretty cool. So you basically sync from the hand for this guy. All you have to do is summon him and then sync from the hand to go into some synchros. I know there is synergy with Angel of Zera, because let me go ahead and actually finish reading its effect. It says the synchro monster that's used that use this card as a synchro material cannot activate its effects. Its effects negated, and it is removed from play when removed from the field. So why is that good? I mean, I guess it's pretty good if you're going into a synchro monster like, I guess, for example, we got over here, we got a Scrap Archfiend. It's got no effect, so if you hit this guy's effect, then GG, it doesn't matter. But on the other hand, you got stuff like Angel of Zera, who, if the effect's negated, you really don't care, because if it dies, it gets banished. And if you guys don't know something about the rulings in Yu-Gi-Oh, once the cards are banished, their effects is kind of like, it's a wiped slate. So next turn, it's already coming back with its full effects. So that's just an easy way to get out Zera multiple times probably. So that's pretty cool. Another card that's huge and finally coming to the game. Oh my goodness, we're getting Necrovalley. It's been a while. Since the beginning of Duel Links, since we had a Shizu, people have been complaining that Necrovalley was not in the game, and hey look, you can potentially get it in the selection box. So if you guys don't know what Necrovalley does, let me go ahead and read it to you so you know exactly what you're in for. But it does say it's the field spell for Gravekeepers, and it says all Gravekeeper monsters gain 500 attack and defense. Pretty formidable power up, not gonna lie, that's pretty decent. Cards in the grave cannot be banished, okay? Negate any card effect that would move a card in the grave to a different place. So you see, so it's basically no revival from the grave, no banishing from the grave, no doing anything to the grave. Negate any card effect that changes types or attributes in the grave. So basically it's saying nothing can touch the grave. The sealed tombs, they're literally sealed. Next up we got Wise Man's Chalice. It says, if you control no monsters, select one monster in your opponent's grave, special summon it. During the end phase of this turn, give control of that special summon monster to your opponent. The monster cannot be tributed or used as a synchro material monster while it is face up on the field. Which, I mean, I guess it's kind of a... If your opponent relies on synchros or something, I think this is the only way that you can shut them down. You basically give them like a useless tuner or something back, and I guess that's that. The only thing is you can revive something on your side of the field, which, I mean, that's pretty cool, but you are going to give it back to your opponent, and all it's really doing is just kind of clogging their board, I guess. But I don't know, man. I feel like this card is a bit questionable. We got Night Beam. It says target one set spell and trap your opponent controls, destroy that target. Your opponent cannot activate the targeted card in response to this card's activation. So there you go. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. It's like your opponent has a face down set spell or trap. Just destroy it for free. They cannot change that card to this card's activation. The only thing is, if it works anything like YuGiOh, the Fire Formation YuGiOh card, they can activate another card and then chain that face down card in response to the other card, I believe. That's one way to get around it, but it is still a good way to make them waste their back row. So Night Beam, pretty interesting card. We are getting a lot of reprints and stuff. So let's go ahead and go like into a rapid fire mode of what cards we're gonna be getting, like Salvage. Next up we got the Tricky. I know I use this guy a lot in a lot of like OTK oriented decks. Ties of the Brethren. I know I only have like 2 copies of this, but hey, here's your chance for a lot of you guys that only have 1 or 0 copies of it. Ties of the Brethren, really cheeky card, can be used very aggressively in a lot of decks. Where you basically pay 2,000 life points, swarm the field, and then you just kind of win. DDR, Different Dimension Reincarnation, a card that I have not seen many people use, so I'm not sure why they're reprinting it. Maybe they're kind of hinting that we're going to be getting a lot more banish shenanigans, especially because of these guys. So maybe there's that's the reason for it. We got Batteryman, Industrial Strength. I don't think anybody was really playing Batteryman, but there you go. Here's an easy way to get this bad boy. We got Gaia, actually a card that I didn't get more than 1 copy of, so I'm gonna take this chance to probably try to get another copy of my Gaia. Speaking of the heroes, we got Elemental Hero Noble Master. It looks like they're giving us a whole bunch of hero support, pretty much all out of nowhere. Noble Knight Madra, another card I didn't get multiple copies of because it's expensive, very expensive. So Noble Knights, I guess if you want to play Noble Knights, there you go. UA Midfielder, there you go. For those of you who didn't get this card, I do have 3 copies of this, so there you go. But it's a playmaking card for its own deck. Another card that's really big, Mass Hero Anki. This is going to be a really big set just because of Anki, because you know Mass Heroes are going to be meta. They're going to be really, really like obnoxiously strong. Next up, we got Drowning, another pretty cool card to get. It's just a nice, somewhat staple card. It can just be really, really useful for gaining advantage. Insect Queen. There you go. She could be pretty useful in some decks. She is kind of like a boss monster, and you can use her in Insectors and any insect deck. Spore, one of the newer cards. And Spore is actually a card that was, I believe, Luna's skill card. So she's her tuner. That her skill adds 2 cards to the deck. It's a level 1 plant tuner. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one other plant type monster from your grave, special summon this card from your grave, and increase its level by the level of the banished monster. Each player can only activate the effect of Spore once per duel. So that's how good it is. Spore is so good, it literally limits you down to only using its activation once. But it's really good. It's basically a free tuner summoned from the grave. So if you find a way to mill it, somehow discard it, GG, you can summon a free tuner, come out on the board, and you choose its level. So it's a really, really good card. But that's not the extent of all the new cards we're getting. We're also getting stuff like Scrap Archfiend, a card I talked about earlier. To be honest, it's just a level 7 2700 beater. That's all it really is. Nothing much else to it. It's just a pretty strong beater. We got HTS Sehemoth over here, who I believe was actually pretty decent. I'm not sure. I've heard of this before, but it's a level 6 Psychic Synchro. 1 tuner, 1 or more non-tuner, so it's a generic. That's awesome. Level 6 generics all the way. I'm all hyped for it. So this one just says, after damage calc, when this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that monster, also banish this card. So I love the fact that it says you can banish. So it basically works as a pretty good boss beater just to knock things out. Also, if they have a big boss monster on their board that's stronger than your monster, you can crash into it and banish both. That can be pretty good, especially combined with like DDR, which can revive it from the banish pile. I think that could be pretty cheeky. Next up, we got Samsara, Dragon of Rebirth. If this card is destroyed at battle and sent to the grave, or if this card you control is sent to the grave by your opponent's card effect, basically if it's into the grave, you can target one monster in either player's graveyard except itself. Special summon it. You can only use the effect of this thing once per turn. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, it's only a defense monster, by the way. It's 2600 defense, 100 attack. So maybe you want to lose it? I don't know. I'd probably just summon it in defense. You use it to stall, and then when it dies, you get to special summon another monster from the grave. And I mean, that's pretty cool, I guess. I mean, that's all it really does. It's kind of like just a monster reborn that you have to synchro into. And then last up, we got the Mass Change. Another copy of Mass Change, because obviously we are getting Anki, we're getting Dion. So yeah, we gotta get Mass Change. And I think that's pretty much it from at least the new SRs and URs that are coming in the new selection box. And that's pretty interesting. I think the selection box is going to be really, really good. Swordbound Silence. Mainly going to buy this just to get your Silent Swordsman over here. So that's what you're getting for that. But you are going to be getting your Silent Swordsman 5 and 7. That's okay. One thing I think is pretty cool is we've got Elemental Hero Solid Soldier. And this guy is actually pretty cool. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon one level 4 or lower hero monster from your hand. So it kind of works like Drill Dart. And it also says if this card is sent from the monster zone to the grave by spell effect, so by Mass Change or Polymerization, you can target one hero monster in your grave except itself and special summon it in defense position. And you can only use the effect of him once per turn. So I think that's going to be really, really useful. So are they just kind of giving us cards and making it seem like, hey, yeah, you're probably going to want to buy 3 of these? I don't know. But other cards we're getting is Emissary from Pandemonium. Level 7 Fiend Tuner. It's actually a level 7 tuner, by the way. That's crazy. This card cannot be special summoned. You can normal summon this card with 1 tribute, and if you do, its level becomes 5. Original attack is half. Next up, we got Starlight Junction. It says Junk, obviously, and Starlight, so it looks like a Yusei card. And it says you can tribute 1 tuner monster, special summon 1 Synchron monster from your deck with a different level than the tributed monster held on the field. So as long as it's a different level, that's interesting. It could be any level. So it says during your opponent's turn, you can special summon a Synchro monster from your extra deck. Oh my goodness, this is a field spell, and it basically lets you synchro on your opponent's turn. Interesting. Target 1 card on the field, shuffle it into the deck. Oh my goodness, a card on the field. It can be your opponent's card, so it lets you synchro and then bounce one of their cards back to the deck. That's really, really strong. You can only use the effect of Starlight Junction once per turn. So this card is going to be really, really strong as well, just in general. So if you are playing a Synchron deck. Then we got Network Trap Hole, more Trap Hole cards. So maybe the trap tricks are going to get pretty strong. I think this card's going to be pretty interesting. It says when your opponent special summons a monster from the main deck or graveyard, banish it face down, which is like the ultimate way to get rid of something. Banishing something face down is like the best way to say you're not getting this back. So there you go. That's pretty much that. I definitely saw a lot of revival from the grave, a lot of summoning from the deck because of this guy, and I forget who else. But last up, we got Battle Tuned over here. It's a quick play spell. So it says remove from play one tuner monster from your grave. Target one face-up card you control gains attack equal to the removed monster's attack. I think that's going to be really cheeky, especially with the fact that we have like this huge tuner over here, 2600. I think that's the best way to use it, and that's pretty much all I wanted to cover today. I spent enough time talking. Once again, shout out to Duel Links Meta for all the info on his site. It makes it so much easier to kind of maneuver through everything, and that's pretty much that. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys are hyped for from the either selection box or the new Swordbound Silence structure deck. Maybe you're hyped for Obelisk. If you're hyped for Obelisk, also let me know, because I don't know, man. I feel like I hope the Obelisk hype hasn't died down. But whatever, I've rambled long enough. That's pretty much it. And if you guys enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, share, and subscribe for more Duel Links shenanigans. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today. Have a great day, and see you.